dealing with death in the family, the impact that impacts trust, carrying the load, manipulation, boundaries, and covert contracts, the emergency poop story, erectile dysfunction. Welcome to the Morrow Marriage podcast, guys. Today we're going to talk about dealing with death in the family. Now this can go a lot of different directions. All right. Now the very first thing obviously is when you have your partners. In our case, Kathryn's father passed away. Hopefully you're going to be okay through this episode.
We'll see.
And of course, as well, we see a lot of, this happens a lot. We see people where the death is what destroys the marriage. It's like the final straw. And it can be tied to many, many other things. A lot of times it's just, for me, I clump it into the same category as, like she's just fed up and she gets a new job and it's $1 more an hour raise. Like she gets tired of it. I'm speaking from my side when I coach men, of course, but essentially
any little thing could be the straw that broke the camel's back is what he's saying. It could be anything that causes your wife or your husband to say, that's it, I'm fed up, I'm done, I can't take it anymore.
Mm-hmm. Now, one of the things before we start getting into dealing with it and how to deal with it is I've really noticed that, a lot of the men every man that comes to me actually, for a long time, his wife has felt like his mom. Okay. So it could be like if he has a knee injury, he has like workman's compensation, something happens at work, death in the family, and he's grieving. All of a sudden, she is so fucking tired of being his mom that like that's the straw that breaks the camel's back.
And she's not willing to help in a situation where there's an actual need.
An actual need.
An injury, a sickness, a death in the family. She's been taking care of him in this instance that you're talking about, the examples you get. Mm-hmm. She's been taking care of everything for so long. Then when there's an actual need where she should be able to step up and take care of him, she can't, and she's fed up.
Yeah. What you mean? Yes. I really wanted to emphasize this before we get into how to deal, because it goes both ways. I mean, we've seen women too that they, oh my gosh, my parent died, or oh my gosh, a lot of the ones we get lately that I've been seeing, just a trend is like, I have cancer, says the woman, and he's just like fucking, and the person looks like an asshole. Obviously, you have cancer, or your parent died, or whatever. What you have to realize is they're so checked out, there's no connection, that is the straw that breaks. Like now I have to deal with that too. I mean, shit, I was just talking to my editor on the phone, and he's having some trouble getting some content up because he has a new computer. I'm like, cool, that's great. Something happened, but right now we're behind in this, and this. So if those things were caught up, this wouldn't be an issue. And what I'm getting at is life is like that. The terrible things that make this person look like an asshole. I have a client.
It's not actually that one thing.
No, it's not.
It's all the things leading up. So in the examples, and you're right, we've had a few women who have cancer. And so they end up being diagnosed with cancer. They need more help. And their husband is like, peace out. It's not the cancer. That's not why he's leaving. He's leaving because she didn't love him. She didn't respect him. They didn't have a connection. And then he's like, oh shit, this too? And he looks like an asshole because, he really does look like an asshole.
I have a client right now who's going through, like we've got to, like he's been growing for years, 2 years. He's working hard. This is long before he met me. We just amplified, we just accelerated. And his wife is really anxious, really avoidant, really depressive, all things that happened later in life. So don't get stuck with your attachment theories, okay? But essentially, that was the thought process when we talked about putting in boundaries and moving this marriage forward. Is she going to join or not? Was simple. It was like, dude, if we don't, by the time she gets fucking so depressed that her body's so shut down that she is getting so depressed that she's not eating, she's not working out, she's wasting away. The moment she has a sickness, he's an asshole. That's not it. The point is, all of this has been building up all until then. So let's talk about dealing with death. The very first thing that I want to cover is those of you who are not connected with your partner and you're going through it. Well, in that case, you're going to have to buckle up and fucking put your helmet on and get to work on your own. Okay. You're going to have to keep doing your responsibilities. I realize you're in a low and it really hurts. If Kathryn and I were not connected, it would not be my responsibility in that case. Of course it is, but we're not connected. She can't expect me to want to be there the way I'll describe as we get later in the episode here. Like, Kathryn would, as a connected partner, as me being connected with her, I want to be there for her. But if that's not the case, those of you who feel the way we were describing with these other people, well, if you don't want the marriage to end based off this thing now because of all these other things have happened, then get, if you're a woman, a solid women's group. men, a solid men's group. Start processing those feelings and go through the grieving process. But life still goes on. I often sound like an asshole on a call with my guys when I'm coaching them. And I'm like, I
laugh because he is an asshole.
Well, I'm an asshole, but
not to me.
No, not to you. But the reality is I say it straight to you like it is. And I'll tell these guys, and I love you too. But listen, I understand that your mom died or your dad died, and I realize that sucks. Life still goes fucking on. And it's not because I'm a narcissist and I'm going to say, I don't care. Man, I cried lots of tears with Kathryn. Well, sort of, but there's an explanation for that. But I understand you're going through something, but no matter what you're going through, bills must be paid. Why are bills more important than your marriage, than your children? Life must go on. Mm-hmm. And I know that that's hard. That's why you need to have solid people that can support you. Or maybe you do need grieving counseling. I have a much better process when I have men with me or women with Kathryn. But like at the end of the day, you must take care of it at the same time. It's like when you want to be rich and have a great marriage and be healthy, you must do all at the same time. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now I want to talk about the fact that you can be the loving partner when your partner's going through it, even if you're disconnected, okay? By doing what I did while we are connected, okay? So let me rewind. We found out in November that your dad was sick.
They thought that he had a stroke, yes.
Stroke, yeah.
Turns out he had terminal brain cancer.
And that's what started the whole roller coaster. By roller coaster, my wife is going through some emotions. It hurts, right? Some days she's happy, some days she's sad. Now, it turns out a lot of the things that happened with her father, with your dad, was like, it caused him to really think differently and trigger you a little bit. A lot of it was not very nice. And we don't really need to get into the details, but that was painful for Kathryn. And then there was a lot of love and remembrance of all the wonderful, your dad was a wonderful dad.
Mostly, he was very wonderful. He was the best dad.
Yeah. And then, of course, and we got blessed. I mean, he found Jesus along the way. He was a pastor for a lot of his life, and then lost Jesus and found Jesus before that. It was
thank
wonderful.
God, literally, yeah. Thank God.
Yeah. And so now here's...
But I think his point is that since my dad got sick, it's been a roller coaster of emotions. Mm-hmm. I've been happy. I've been sad. I've been thankful that he came back to the Lord. There was anger in there.
There was frustration.
There was frustration. There was anger. All of the feelings. Yeah. And so I've been on a roller coaster. And so I think what you want to describe is how you can be there for me mm-hmm. while we are still moving forward. Life still goes on. During all of this, I don't get to not be a mom. I don't get the opportunity, and I don't want to not be a mom, but I don't get an opportunity to just sit back and let my life flow. Mm-hmm. Life doesn't flow if you're not in it. Mm-hmm. You can't just sit back. So I had time to sit back and grieve and cry and vent, and he was there for me, but I don't get just to just stop.
Now, if you're
get to withdraw.
No, and if you're that partner who's not connected, so we're connected, so I was mm-hmm. able to be there for her ups and downs. What does that look like? I listened a lot. I acknowledged a lot of what she was feeling. I asked questions. I remember one time, it was like, what was your favorite thing, your favorite memory, right? Like you get involved, but if you don't have a connected partner, you have to, like she said, I still have children. Mm-hmm. I still have work. I still have life. I still have a husband. I still, and so you're going to have to manage a lot of that on your own, because unfortunately your partner isn't going to acknowledge or ask questions or sit there
and carry you
and put the phone down and be like, okay, yeah, tell me now. This is what you need right now. Mm-hmm. There's an exorbitant amount of times where I would drop whatever because this is her dad and he's on his deathbed and mm-hmm. we have no idea when. And I don't even know if you realize that, but like, it's like you do
that a lot for me anyway.
Well, I love you.
Thank you.
Connection, guys. Okay. So you're welcome. But if you guys can think about it, if your partner's not on board, then even if you're not connected with your partner, like, could you let your kids down like that? Like, you still have to work if you have a job. Like, we have to start being a little more, you can either handle stress or you can't. I realize that it sucks, and I'm not downplaying the pain that you're going through.
No, but you're just saying don't let it thwart everything else that's going on in your life.
Correct.
Don't let it derail you from all the goals that you have. You can take a break and you can grieve and you can cry and you can feel all of the emotions. We're not saying not to do that, mm-hmm. but don't withdraw completely from your partner, from your children, from your life, from your job. Life has to go on, even in those moments. And right now we're talking about death because that's what we are going through. But it could be death of a job. It could be death of a child.
That's right.
God forbid.
God forbid.
Or death of your spouse. Now, most of you are maybe not in the best marriage. And so death of a child probably hits you harder when you hear that. But no matter what, especially if you have more children, there are other responsibilities that you need to continue to do.
100%.
And you can grieve and connect with your partner at the same time.
Yeah, it, guys, a lot of this is tying back to what we always talk about is like it's choice to choose joy. You know, one of the things that happened when we found out that it was happening, he was going to be leaving us, was we got on we were waiting for 3 days to get onto the call with your parents.
Yeah.
And
because he's in another country, so we actually had to say goodbye on FaceTime. It was really sad.
That's right. Yeah, because of where we're at, we couldn't get back. And Kathryn's mom asked, "How are you doing?" And I said, "Best day of my life. I always do." And later we had this talk about it. She said, "He's not really appropriate." And I think it is. And I realize it hurts people in that situation. And it hurt Kathryn a lot. We talked about it and she was gentle. I was gentle. And we tried to, I don't even think we agreed, but we didn't.
That's because he said best day of our lives. He said, it might be the best day of your life.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you leave me out of that.
Yeah, that's part's true. Actually, I don't know why I would have said our lives. I always say
best day of my life. Yeah. So you looped me into it.
So maybe,
but we were able to connect on it.
That's right. Yeah. Because my thought is this, that even though you're going through it, it sucks. I mean, the one thing that I focused on, no matter how much Kathryn was hurting, was he found Jesus. Mm-hmm. He found God again. Right. And so he's going to the place he needs to go to. You know what I mean? And so, although it was difficult, and I never had a conversation with her mom, and she's probably like, "What the fuck?" Like, at the same time, like, I'm not going to change who I am, and life must go on. And then we start to realize what people start to do. What do you guys normally do when something happens? You are trying to connect. You are trying to make it better. You don't want to deal with this. You don't know how to heal them. This is the same thing if your kid scrapes a knee. You just seem to have to fix it all the time, right? And the kids one is hard for us too, but with each other, you got to be different. I didn't need to fix it for Kathryn. Man, first of all, we got the news while I had my paid for videographer scheduled time, so I still film my content, knowing that we're going to have this call at some point. Okay? Anyways, then I go out and decide to go for a drive and film content. Why? Because I can go find a farm we went to a few times because chickens make my wife fucking happy. So I knock on some stranger's door. I've met her a couple times. Hope this is the right house. Well, I was pretty sure it was. And then, hey, can I please have some chickens? Kathryn's going through something. Like, do you have anything cool? Bring them home. And I'm like, this is better. Right? Like, why?
Drop them in my lap like a bouquet of flowers.
Yeah, that's right.
A bouquet of chickens.
How you doing, baby? Oh, I'm up and down and like, this is feel and this is better. Okay. I'm not trying to fix it. That's just something I know that will make Kathryn happier for a moment, a distraction. Right. And then it was, well, listen to Kathryn. How are you feeling? What's going on? What are you thinking of? How many memories you thought of? How many things you thought of? By the time this evolved, you ended up co-writing a beautiful song for your father. Mm-hmm. And by the time this episode airs, it will already been played at the funeral. And
I'll put it on my social media.
I mean, you've been playing that thing like
over and over
and over again. And it's like, it's just gorgeous. Right. Well, that was a suggestion I gave to Kathryn, but through listening to how she was feeling and not just like, hey, what if you did this? You know what I mean?
Pausing life.
Yeah.
Which also doesn't help.
No, you can't. Right. So I really want to give you guys some encouragement. Like, it sucks to lose somebody that you care about. It sucks to lose your job. It sucks to have a partner you're not connected with go through these things and you're like, fuck, now I got to deal with this. Okay. It sucks to go through this and not have a partner who's there for you. I get it. But I want to give you guys some encouragement to get what we have and how we move through the situation, or we're moving through it still. Okay. It's really about the person you want to be, like we always say, right? Kathryn, you didn't want to sit there and cry, but sometimes tears come, right? Not came, they're still coming. Okay. And
I'm okay right now, but we don't know how we'll be in an hour from now.
That's right.
It's a roller coaster, guys.
But Kathryn's life has not stopped. In fact, you're so proud of that song, right? You're so, regret for a moment, with her dad and visiting and thoughts and memories, and then right into joy and life and what memories and and pride. She's connecting with people that she knew from childhood. How cool is that, right? Connecting over her father and keeping his memory alive. And I want to share something that one of those people taught us, which I'd never heard of before, and I thought was so beautiful. And he said, when you have a memory of somebody who's gone, it's not you thinking of them, it's them thinking of you and reminding you of them.
Yeah.
I thought that was beautiful.
It was. And I actually texted this same guy So he was a pastor back where I'm from in the community where I grew up. And I had this memory of my cat, actually, and the details don't matter, but I texted him and I shared all of these beautiful details. And his answer, he said, first of all, he acknowledged he remembered the memory. And then he said, wow, your dad is having such a wonderful conversation with you right now.
Fuck, I love that.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, I do. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.